Good evening, students. Now I shall discuss on the remaining part of the prose piece, The Eye's Habit. The girl was getting ready to decamp. The train drew slowly into the station. The girl was ready to get down at Saharanpur. The train was approaching the station. Outside there was the shouting of porters and vendors and a high-pitched female voice near the carriage door. And it happens at every station. When a train comes, a shout, a confused noise is heard from the platform. There are porters, there are vendors, there are passengers who are waiting to board the train. And there was a confused noise with a female voice, high-pitched female voice. That voice must have belonged to the girl's aunt. The narrator had learnt before that the girl's aunt would come to receive her. So he guessed that the high-pitched voice, female voice, is from the girl's aunt. Goodbye, the girl said. The girl bid goodbye to the narrator. She was standing very close to me, so close that the perfume from her hair was tantalizing. Tantalizing means raising and dashing hopes. The perfume from the girl's hair was floating in the air, and from that scent the narrator guessed that the girl was standing very close to him. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair, but she moved away. It is clear to us that there is a kind of affection, a kind of love in the narrator's mind for the girl. He wanted to touch her hair, but already she had removed from the place. Only the scent of perfume still lingered where she had stood. Lingered means delayed. She moved away, but the scent of her hair still remained there. There was some confusion in the doorway. It happens. Some passengers are trying to board the compartment, trying to enter the compartment, and there is a kind of competition among them to get into the compartment first, to get a choiceable seat. There was a confusion. A man getting into the compartment stammered an apology. A man boarded the compartment. He stammered, he uttered an apology in a stammering tone, not clear tone. Then the door banged and the world was shut out again. It was an express train, so the doors were opened at the station, and just before leaving the station the door was closed. The door was again closed and the outer world was shut before the narrator, before the passenger. I returned to my berth. Berth means the place for sleeping in the train. The narrator returned to his berth. The guard blew his whistle and we moved off. Then the guard blew the whistle. It means that the train was about to move. Once again I had a game to play and a new fellow traveler. The narrator was playing a game during the presence of the girl passenger. Now she is not there. Instead of her, there is a male passenger. And the narrator will have to start another game. A game to hide his blindness. The train gathered speed. The wheels took up their song. The carriage groaned and shook. Groaned means moaned in pain. The train began to move. The wheels of the train began their rhythmic sound. And the train gradually increased speed. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight that was darkness for me. The narrator faced the window, kept his face towards the outer world. It was daytime. There was daylight. It could be felt by the narrator, but he could not see any other thing, any other object. He was blind. So many things were happening outside the window. In the outer world, so many things were happening. It could be a fascinating game gazing what went on out there. He could not see. He could only gaze what was happening in the outer world. So, it also was a game to him to guess correctly what was going on outside the train compartment. The man who had entered the compartment broke into my reverie. Reverie means daydream. This dream is not dreamed during sleep. People often think deeply over something while they are awake. These are types of dream. These dreams are called daydreams or reverie. His reverie was broken by the fellow passenger, the new passenger. You must be disappointed, he said. I am not really nearly as attractive a travelling companion as the one who just left. The new passenger said to the narrator that the narrator must be disappointed as the new passenger is not so attractive like the one who left the compartment at Saharanpur. It means the girl. The girl was beautiful. So, this was said by the new traveler. Why? He found that the narrator did not notice him, did not pay heed to him. So he said as a joke that he was not a beautiful person. So the narrator was not attracted to him. She was an interesting girl, I said. The narrator said that the girl was interesting. Can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short? The narrator was curious about her hair. He was trying to guess what kind of hair she kept. And now he is judging his guess. Did he guess correctly or not? So he asked the new passenger about the girl's hair. I don't remember, he said, sounding puzzled. In a puzzled tone, the new passenger said that he did not notice the girl's hair. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. He noticed the girl's eyes. It is often said that everybody's beauty rests mainly in his or her eyes. Eyes are the most beautiful or most attractive part of a human body. So, naturally, the new passenger noticed the girl's eyes, not her hair. She had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her. Her eyes were beautiful. It means beautiful in shape, beautiful in look, but they were useless. Why? She was completely blind. Didn't you notice? The new passenger saw that the girl was completely blind, but the narrator did not see it. Why? He himself is blind. So, it is an interesting story. The narrator tried throughout the journey up to Saharanpur to hide his blindness, and from whom? From another blind person. He didn't know, he didn't imagine that the girl was blind. So he tried heart and soul to hide his own blindness. So this is an interesting story of two blind persons. One blind man and one blind woman. So the eyes have it, the title. What does it mean here? Here it means the third eye, that is imagination. Throughout the story, we realized the narrator's imagination. And the eyes have it. Here it also means attraction. Which part of a human body has the most quantity of attraction? It is eye. A person's eyes remain at the root of the beauty. One's beauty is often judged by the look of his or her eyes. So the eyes have it. Here it means attraction too. The eyes have it means the eyes have attraction. One's eyes attract others. at first. So here is the end of the story. Now you should go through the whole story, and in the next classes the question answers will be discussed on. Good night.